Kanks's most evil foot soldier is Stephen Miller. This guy is a complete psychopath. There is no other psychological explanation for this man other than he is emotionally damaged and blatantly evil. Here he is propagandizing and declaring a war on more than half of the country on Sean Hannity's show last night.
Democrat Party does not fight for, care about, or represent American citizens. It is an entity devoted exclusively to the defense of hardened criminals, gangbangers, and illegal alien killers and terrorists. The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is a domestic extremist organization. Look at Chicago. They've shut down the police department.
He just called the Democratic Party a domestic extremist organization. And at the first part of that sentence, he says this is a party that doesn't care about American citizens. And then Stephen Miller goes on after that to basically say that over 100 million, more than half of the country, are domestic terrorists. Nobody shit talks the United States of America as much as MAGA. They berate our cities. They berate the citizens. They treat their own cult members as though they are completely stupid. And for reasons unknown to me, the cult just completely goes into this whole thing. But this is really serious. We have his desire to take tanks and the military into blue cities because they don't want to go to the midterms, because their policies suck. A woman just won a Democrat in Iowa in a state race. She won a Trump district by over 10 points, and Trump won it just this past election by 11 points. So the tide is turning. So their only option is to go on Fox and to make all of their bots, and they have a mass sophisticated bot farm online, to create the optics of support and to create the optics that they're doing well. But they're not. And that's why they can't have a free and fair election. Stephen Miller and all of the others are going to do everything in their power to ensure that we do not make it to the midterms. All right, next up. Yesterday, as you all saw, the most embarrassing video on the planet, 3 hours long, droning on, everybody treating Kanks like he's a 3-year-old and praising him. And I just want you to wrap your heads around the fact that Steve Witkoff, the guy that I'm about to play, he's the guy that the United States of America sends to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. This guy, play the clip.
And we hope to settle them before the end of this year. Your team is nothing short of incredible. And there's only one thing I wish for, that noble committee finally gets its act together and realizes that you are the single finest candidate since the Nobel Peace, this Nobel Award was ever talked about, to receive that reward. Beyond your success.
This is just unbelievable how obsequious these people are and what ass kissers they are and how unserious they are, and the superficial praise and the superficial flattery is beyond toxic. The fact that you could assemble that many people in a room and they're all on message like that, just kissing this man's ass, this man that has dementia, this man that has, all of this bruising all over his hands, this man that can't even walk in a straight line. This guy doesn't even know what's going on in the world. And he's running around claiming he solved 7 wars and 3 pre-wars, and there's zero evidence that he's done any of those things. All right, and I want to move along because these things I think are all connected. The toxicity in this party, these are highly dysfunctional, emotionally stunted individuals that are running the country. And I think they have skeletons in their closet. I think that we have within the MAGA movement, what I'm calling the DL LGBTQ plus movement. This is the down low gays. These are the closeted gays. These are the gays that go out and put maxi pads on their ears for the RNC and, God bless Donald Trump with Ted Cruz and all this MAGA thump and Bible thump. And then they leave the convention center and then they go get on Grindr and they do gay stuff because they are evil little hypocrites. And I point these next videos out to you because I've never seen a president of the United States that is so turned on by people of the same sex. And look, I would love to have a first out of the closet, those being the operative words, out of the closet gay president. But with Kanks, it's just like all this bisexuality that just goes unaddressed. Here he is right here complimenting Gavin Newsom's looks.
You have an incompetent governor there. You have an incompetent governor in California, Gavin. I know him very well. He's incompetent. He's a nice guy, looks good. Hi, everybody. How you doing? He's got some strange hand action going on.
Nice guy, looks good. He, everything for him goes back to looks. And then Gavin Newsom perfectly trolls him. Put this up, Kylie. And he says, you really want to have the conversation about hands. And I love that Governor Newsom is continuing to just hit where they get hit, speaking their language. But next up, now Trump's new obsession is Wes Moore. He's a very good-looking guy. He is a young, energetic star in the Democratic Party right now, the governor of Maryland. And Trump has been lying through his teeth about Wes Moore because Wes said, hey, come walk the streets of Baltimore with me. If you have a problem walking, I'll get you a golf cart. Well, of course, Trump fancies himself an athlete, but underneath that narcissism, he knows he's not athletic. He knows he's never been good at anything. He knows he has to cheat at golf. So that criticism really got him. But here is Wes Moore talking about how hot Kanks thinks he is. Watch this.
Well, the president seems to be obsessed with me. Today he called me a beauty, and when I first met him, he just talked about how I was a good-looking guy, and now he just continues to make statements that are just flat out false about our state's large.
Okay, so this is the thing with Kanks, you guys. If you really, really piece it together, we have the blowjob on the microphone. We have him drooling because apparently he's a big size queen over the size of Arnold Palmer's penis. We have all of these clearly closet cases that are running the country right now. And Grindr is crashing. And then we have Trump here telling Wes Moore how attractive he is, what a good looking guy. I just think these guys are so incredibly emotionally stunted and have not ever been able to be self-actualized. And we have toxic, broken people running the country. And then here's what we get in DC as MAGA moves in. This is Steve Bannon's protege, okay? And she says the DC's dating scene is bleak unless you're a gay man. And so I find this really on track with all of our reporting because I think we have a bunch of emotionally stunted people who were raised in very shame-based environments that hate themselves. And instead of going to a therapist, they have gone into the federal government and they are bullying the very people that they are. It's kind of like when you see the Latinos for Trump. They saw all the signs, mass deportation now, yet they're having these rallies and they never connected the dots that the knives are going to come after them. And so I just want to keep an eye on the LGBTQ plus movement that is at the epicenter of this, all of these MAGA people in Washington. These are chicken shit cowards that don't have the courage to go to therapy and work through their own sexuality and instead would rather bully and marginalize and make laws against the people for whom they seek after hours on Grindr to go do gay stuff with. All right. And lastly, when you have these broken people running the country, Rolling Stone has consistently been putting out the best headlines, in my opinion. This is such a layup for the Democrats to fight back, but we're not seeing that. And Rolling Stone is reporting that Donald Trump is waging a fascist takeover of the United States. We've all seen that. And the Democrats are responding the only way they know how, by heeding the advice of the wonks who helped them get into this situation and whose advice is to avoid discussing what Trump is doing. These are the people that took Kamala to the center. These are the people that insisted she trot around with Liz Cheney. These are the people that allowed Kanks to be way more overly qualified, intelligent women. The Democratic Party is driving everybody crazy. They have a very low approval rating, and they keep staying beholden to AIPAC. I'm talking about Cory Booker. I'm talking about Chuck Schumer. I'm talking about Hakeem Jeffries and others. And only 8% of members of the Democratic Party in polling support Israel's provocations and genocide in Gaza. So what they're doing is just beyond me, other than I know that they're complicit. And here's another headline from the Rolling Stone. Dems messaging nerds urged party not to talk about Trump's military takeover. And so this is where we are. No one's going to save us. The Democrats are being complicit, the Democrats in office right now, by going along with this and trying to act like they're cool hip on social media. Now, Gavin Newsom, he's fighting the fight. I see that. Bernie Sanders, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and if I'm missing anybody, y'all know who the fighters are. But we need that fight at the top. We need it in leadership. And I think you all have seen the clip that went viral yesterday of Charlemagne the God calling Hakeem Jeffries AIPAC Shakur. And so this is what's so important to understand about AIPAC. AIPAC donated millions, hundreds of millions to get MAGA in power. They are complicit in this, while at the same time, they're holding the opposition to MAGA hostage. And this opposition movement right now is polling in the gutter. And so I'm hopeful that we keep applying pressure to Hakeem, to Cory Booker's, to any of these politicians, Chuck Schumer, any of them that are taking AIPAC money, any of them that are not fighting or writing strongly worded letters. And we keep pushing them because we are on the precipice of possibly not making it to 2026. So if their short-sighted game is, oh, I want to get reelected again, you're not going to get reelected if Stephen Miller has his way and militarizes everybody and everybody's too fearful to go to the voting booths. So we need to keep our eye on all of this. We need to keep our eye on the impotent Democratic leadership, and we need to completely message them online, flood their email boxes that they need to shed AIPAC money and start fighting. And we need to keep an eye on these LGBTQ plus MAGA men, because I think there's a bunch of fuckery going on there. All right, that's all we have. We'll be back later today. Pumps and I need to share with everybody that we have written a book. It's called Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. And believe it or not, Pumps and I have not always been so rock solid. And we talk about all of our trials, tribulations, most of all our fuck ups. Yes, because fuck ups are relatable and a part of the human experience.
I have gotten so much feedback regarding the book that because of my situation with the religion and addiction and all that people relate to that. So I do think there's something to take away that's comforting about it, because we've all been in very difficult situations.
And listener, what we want you to do, this is the it book for summer reading. So please get your copy of Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches and take a picture of yourself with the book in really great places and tag at I've Had It podcast, and we will share your images with our summer it book. You can buy it in bookstores. You can buy it in the link in our bio. You can buy it at Target, Walmart, Amazon, etc. All the retailers. Happy reading and happy summer.